Hey everybody, it's me, Mackenzie, your favorite cozy cat reader, or maybe your third favorite cozy cat reader. I don't know how many cozy cat readers you know, but different background. Where are we? I didn't move. We are actually in London. We're recording this all the way across the pond in a city in a country that I've always wanted to visit, London, the UK. And we do have a little bit of footage from Scotland. So, what am I doing? Why do I have all of these books literally surrounding me? What's going on? I'll let you know. Thanks, Mackenzie, for introducing the video that we're doing today. And I'm going to tell you more about it. Matt and I are here on our honeymoon. And while we've been traveling across the UK, primarily in London, but also up in Edinburgh, we have stopped at several bookstores along our vacation. And this video is just some quick shots, some quick overview of all the books that I've gotten while I've been here and all of the beautiful bookstores that we've been able to visit. So I hope you enjoy it. And yeah, let's get back to the couch. Thank you, Mackenzie, from the other chair. This room is just so cool and has so many fun things that we're filming from two different angles because I thought, why not? So let's get into all of the books I've purchased while we've been in the UK. I'll also talk about the bookstores that we've gone to, and I'll throw in some videos of that. The very first bookstore that we visited was South Kensington Books. This is a small independent bookstore in the UK in South Kensington. After taking a stroll around the Kensington Gardens and visiting the Natural History Museum, Matt and I popped in to this lovely bookstop. Matt and I popped into this lovely bookshop and had a good time. So this is the first book that I got on the honeymoon on this trip, Shoot at the Moon. This is a science fiction novel from 1966. It sat in the British Library for Science Fiction Classics for over 50 years before being reprinted. And this is a book about outer space and space travel. The next bookstore that we went to was called BookBar, the Chelsea location. We stumbled across this. It was planned, but we had a little trouble navigating the roads. But when we did turn the corner and finally clapped eyes on it, it was so exciting. This is a bookstore and a bar and a bakery kind of all rolled into one. They advertise, have a fun glass of wine, have a cocktail, and peruse books, read. And I'll say the atmosphere was very much those vibes. The only thing that was different than what I expected was I thought, and this is just me not thinking, I feel like, but I thought you could get a glass of wine and walk around the bookstore. They did ask that if you had any liquids that you just sit at one of their tables or one of their couches and consume your beverage before looking around the bookstore because, we want to protect the books. Very reasonable. So I ordered a glass of wine and I drank my glass of wine while just soaking in the vibes. They were wonderful. There were several people just sat upon different chairs or the couch reading books, having a chat about books. And I could fully see myself, if I ever managed to live in London, that being a regular spot for myself, because why would you not just want to go to a place and sit down that feels like a second living room that also conveniently has someone else making the drinks for you and books? I also ended up getting a hot chocolate before the visit was over, and I got Brooklyn as my book from BookBar. Now, I've seen the movie with Saoirse Ronan. Did I say her last name correctly? I don't know. Correct me though if I said it wrong. I'm really sorry. I think I did an okay job on her first name though. This is a romance novel about an Irish girl who moves to New York and maybe she falls in love, but will that love last when she has to go back home to Ireland for a little bit? I'm so excited to read this book, but I'm going to wait. I'm going to hold myself back because Matt and I are also visiting Ireland this year. A very big year for travel for us, and I'm planning to read this like right before we leave, maybe like on the plane ride there. And then additionally, they gave me this super cute bookmark that says BookBar. The third bookstore that we went to, I don't remember if I have video footage of this one. I think I do. So if I do, it's playing right now. If not, you're just looking at me. And this was a Waterstones. Now, I've done my research. I watched a couple video from Ellen Reads. I'll tag her, link her, or figure something out how to get you to her channel. Because she lives in, I think she lives in London, but she lives in near London, and she is doing a series where she's going to a couple of different bookstores in London. And she has informed me through her video, I don't actually know her, but she seems like a lovely person, that Waterstones, Foils, and I think Daunt books possibly, they all have the same parent company, and the way I can like think about it is that it's basically their Barnes and Noble or their Books a Million. So they have multiple stores throughout the UK, and you're gonna get what you're gonna get. So I stumbled across this Waterstones. It's actually the Waterstones on King's Road. And there I bought the new Abby Jimenez book, Say You'll Remember Me. I believe I've already reviewed this on the channel. I listened to the audiobook of this one because I wasn't sure if this was going to be the vibes of something I wanted permanently. And I did want it permanently. So I thought this will be my book from the Waterstones on King Street that Matt and I stumbled across on our way to dinner. Up next, we had one of the ones that I was very excited for, most excited for, because they wrap your books for you. Look at how cute this is. This is a book for myself. I have purchased books as gifts, which are not up here. So if you're a friend and you're watching this and you read, you might be getting a book your way, but you're not going to see it on this table. I have hidden it. It's actually holding up my phone because I do not have my little stand with me. But look at how cute this wrapping is, and it has a little ribbon that says Hatchards. I don't remember the title of the book that I've gotten myself. I know it's a romance book, and that is all I remember at this point. This happened 2 weeks ago, and I'm not going to open it now. I'm going to let this remain a mystery for all of us until I decide that it's time to read the Hatchards romance, because I love that I'm going to be able to open up a book present from myself from my honeymoon in the near future, maybe in the distant future. We'll find out. I definitely don't need to buy any more books this year. I have 3 books that are coming out, I think in October, that I'm going to buy, if we're being honest. But I don't think I'll need to buy books for like 6 months. I need to get through all of the ones that I've purchased here. So this one will eventually be read. And until then, I'm going to enjoy the beautiful wrap job that they did. The table is getting more clear. You can see more things. Huzzah. Now we have a big stack. The same day that I went to Hatchards and bought myself a book and some other books, we went to Foyles. Up until this point, I would like everyone to remember that I've only bought one book for myself at each location. That was the goal, one book per bookshop, and I'd been doing it well. And then I went into Foyles. And then I bought 4 books for myself in Foyles. I bought a trilogy, or the first 3 books in a series that we'll talk about. And I've also bought myself Firefly. I haven't talked about this yet on the channel, but I'm very much a fan of the TV show Firefly and the subsequent movie Serenity. Briefly, space cowboys, rebels fighting for a good cause, and they lost the war and now they're kind of outlaws. I've had my eye on this book for quite some time, and books are cheaper here than they are in the States, hence all of the books that I've bought. Did I save money? No. Yes. Kind of. I would have bought this number of books eventually, so the money would have been spent, but normally I'm good about doing things on sale. But now I'll have a memory. I'll stop rambling. But I bought this book because it was cheaper to buy the UK version than it would be to buy a copy in the States. Now, this trilogy. We have the first book, which, if you can tell, I've started reading. So this book will be in the September reading wrap-up. We have The Wisteria Society of Lady Scoundrels. We have the second book, The League of Gentlemen Witches. And the third book, which this was the first of the 3 that I picked up, and I've learned my lesson. I have started to look and see if there are books before the book that I'm purchasing. And we have The Secret Service of Tea and Treason. Now, these 3 books are, I think the description on the book cover is Bridgerton meets Peaky Blinders, which I've never seen Peaky Blinders, but I've heard good things. And we're set in Victorian era England, and we have a little bit of magic. There are gentle lady pirates with flying houses and maybe assassination attempts and skullduggery all abounding. I think my friend Elise will really like this series, and so I'm a little bit bummed that I did not get her a copy for a Christmas present, but I didn't know that it would be right up her alley. So maybe I'll have to get her a copy from the States, because I think she'll like this. This is already a hilarious book. I haven't had much time to read the last couple of days, so I'm only 30 pages into the first of the trilogy, and oh my gosh, it's so funny. I can't wait to talk to you guys about this more. And now, the last few books that are in this stack of books come from Waterstones. Not the first Waterstones from King Street, but the Waterstones that I had planned on going to while we were over here. This Waterstones is the biggest bookstore in all of the UK, and possibly, not currently confirmed, but possibly all of Europe. It had 6 floors, I believe, and they were massive. It was daunting, truly. But they had handy little guides of what you could find on each floor. And unlike the other big bookstores over here, they had a whole section for romance. And we all know on this channel, I'm a romance book girly. So I had already gone off only buying one book. And so I bought 3 books at the Waterstones, the biggest bookstore that I could find. The first is called Night Shift. This is, I believe they're going to be in college, and we have 2 students, and we have a basketball player this time. I'm branching out on my sports romance, so we'll have to see if the other sports hold up to hockey romances in my heart. But I've also got Behind the Net, which is a hockey romance. I forget where I heard this one, but I was recommended this from one of the booktubers that I watch. Not personally. I don't know any other booktubers personally yet. Who knows? Let's all hang out. I think it'd be fun. We have Behind the Net, which is the first book in a hockey romance series by Stephanie Archer. I think she's a Canadian author, actually. And I think these take place in Canada. They definitely take place in Canada. The cover literally says Vancouver. So, 2 sports romances from the Waterstones. And then I also got The Blonde Who Came In From the Cold. Last year, I read Allie Carter's, I think it's The Blonde Identity is the first book in the series. Very good, very funny, spicy a little bit, if I can remember correctly. And this is the second book in the series, and I'm very excited to read this one as well. Oh, look, I can rest my arms and head on the table now because we've gone through some of the books that I've gotten on honeymoon, and we're going to continue with this half of the table. The next bookstore that Matt and I visited is very close to Kew Gardens. So we had a whole day planned at Kew. And if you're ever visiting, please just plan nothing else that day. Just plan to spend your whole day at Kew Gardens because you definitely can. And it's so much fun. And it might be my favorite day on the honeymoon so far. Within like 10 minutes of being in the gardens, we saw the most adorable fox. Stole the show, stole the show, stole the honeymoon. Loved it. But right before you get to Kew Gardens, literally you leave the station, the Kew Garden station, and immediately to your right is this super cute little bookstore called Kew Bookstore. And there I bought 2 books. I bought Sanditon, I think I've said this correctly, by Jane Austen. I think this is one of the few Jane Austens that I don't already own. And if I do own it, well, now I have this pretty purple cover and it's shiny. And then I also bought Cleopatra. I should probably go back. Jane Austen writes romances. They are historical for us, but contemporary for her. And I think this is one of her unfinished works. I'm not 100% sure, but we'll find out together eventually. And then I've also bought Cleopatra. If you follow me on Instagram, you've already seen this book cover in a photo that Matt took of me at Kew Gardens. At that point, I was just pretending to read this book, but I really wanted a picture with a book in Kew Gardens. I thought that it'd be a really cute idea. And I was so excited to buy this one because, yes, it's about Cleopatra and her life, but it's also signed. Look at that. Isn't that an amazing signature and stamp as well? And I'm a sucker for a signed book. It just gets me giddy. So, know her, love her, fear her. I'm very excited for this one as well. The next bookstore that we went to was London Review Bookstore. This is an independent bookstore based in London, clearly by the title. And I think I did get some video of this one. It was a little bit rainy this day, so I'd be surprised. It rains a lot in England. I feel like my soul belongs here. I love a good rainy day. But it had 2 floors, very tall bookshelves. This book that I've got was actually on the very top shelf, and I had to ask Matt if he would grab it down for me because I couldn't reach it. And he very kindly used all of his height and grabbed this book down for me. Ariadne. She's an actual figure in Greek mythology. She is a princess of Crete, and this is her story. I'm sure the author has taken some liberties. It's what we do when we write fictional works. Again, shiny book, Greek mythology. I'm pretty sure there's going to be a little bit of romance. So I'm very excited to read this book as well. After leaving London Review Bookshop, we strolled along to our, I think, only fully secondhand bookstore. So this is another independent, but again, secondhand. So books a little bit cheaper even than they already are here. And we love a good secondhand bookstore. We love reduce, reuse, recycle, giving anything a second life. My shirt is thrifted. Not that you guys cared. But this bookstore is called Scoob Books. And I thought it was so funny because it's just books. And it's the first one, Scoob, is books backwards. So it's kind of like they're facing a mirror. But at Scoob Books, I was able to find a Victoria Avgard, a book from Victoria called The Red Queen. I don't know a lot about this book. I know my friend Victoria either is reading it or it's on her TBR. And I've just finished up her other series, the first book in the other series, Realmbreaker. So I liked it. So I'm very excited to read The Red Queen. And at Scoob Books, I've also got a bookmark. And it even tells you where you can find them. So if you live in or around London and you're looking for a good secondhand bookstore, give this one a try. The next bookstore was not on my list, not on my radar at all. I haven't heard anybody talk about it, which is a shame because it's so cute. It's called Gaze the Word. It is an entire LGBTQ bookstore. It's, I think, currently undergoing renovations. So they're like 2 storefronts down from, I think, where they originally or normally are. And I think maybe at the end of this month or next month, they'll be back in their other location. I bought Mistakes Were Made. This is set for one of our main characters. She's in college, and I believe it's her first day. And she didn't plan to go out drinking, but she did. And she ran into this very pretty older woman, and they hooked up. And that person, I believe, ends up being her new roommate's mom. So they're going to navigate That drama, I cannot even imagine. So very excited about this one. There were a couple of very cute books there that I've taken pictures of, but at this point my bag was full of books and I needed to shove more in there to make sure that none of them got wet. And so I've only left with mistakes were made. The last bookstore we went to on that day was another one that I was very excited for, another independent bookstore, Word on the Water. This bookstore is literally a barge, a houseboat. I'm not entirely sure what the definitions are, but if you go just past King's Cross Station, you'll find this place where all of the barges are, where all of these, I don't know if barge is the word that I'm looking for, where all of these little boats are that I think can also be houseboats. And one of them is selling books. It's a bookstore on the water. I will say that inside can be a little bit crowded. I mean, let's be real, we're on a boat and there are definitely moments that are unsteady. So if you don't like crowded spaces and you're not steady on your feet, I'm not sure if I would recommend this one. They do have a couple of books sitting out on the land for people to look at, but I absolutely loved it. And there I picked up 2 books. This very beautiful version of The Great Gatsby. I don't believe I own The Great Gatsby, but I did read it in high school and I enjoyed it. And it's just a cute little book of The Great Gatsby. It has gold and it shimmers. So I was very thrilled to see The Great Gatsby. And then I've already read Madeline Miller's Circe, but I haven't read The Song of Achilles. I don't think this book needs a big introduction. I haven't read this one. I'm very excited to because I love Circe, and I am just, yeah, this is the other book that I picked up. I'm rambling at this point. And now we leave London. Matt and I took an overnight train and we fell asleep in the heart of London and woke up in Edinburgh, Scotland. And we were only able to go to 3 bookstores while we were there. A real tragedy because I think I had like 14 on my list of like hopeful. And we were just enjoying our time together. And so we've only gone to 3 bookstores. Yeah, 3 bookstores is still a lot. We were only there for 2 days. The first one that we went to is called Blackwell's. Blackwell's is, to me, it felt like a bookstore in a similar vein of like a Barnes & Noble. I'm not sure if there's more Blackwell's out there. I'm not sure if it's a chain or if it's independent, but I did enjoy the vibes. There were 3 levels, lots of different rooms to look around. I bought 2 books at Blackwell's. The first is called Rewitched. It's about a woman who is about to turn 30, and there is some magic. I mean, clearly the title, it sounds like she's a witch, and she's working in a bookstore, but I don't believe her life is going the way she had planned. So as her 30th birthday approaches, I keep waving this book about, but as her 30th birthday approaches, we're gonna see if she can bring the spark back into her life. And the second book I got there is called Medusa, and it is about everyone's favorite Gorgon, Medusa. And actually, when we were doing a photo shoot later in Edinburgh with two amazing photographers, Natalie and Erica. They showed us on the back side of a prominent statue, there is actually a second, almost hidden statue of Medusa. So I didn't know how big like Medusa was in Edinburgh. Maybe she's not that big. It's just this one hidden statue. But I'm very excited for this very pretty book. And now I also have that special memory of Natalie pointing out this secret statue. After Blackwell's, we went to Topping and Company, which I was very excited for. When I realized that we were running out of time and I could only do a handful of more bookstores, Toppings was one of the ones that I absolutely had to go to. It was on my must-do list, and for very good reason. If you ever find yourself in Edinburgh, I would definitely recommend them. I believe they are an independent bookseller. If not, please let me know. But they had so many fun rooms, and they had ladders for their bookshelves. At one point, Matt was looking at the tallest one that not even he could reach, so he was up on a ladder. It was very adorable. And there I ended up getting two books, the first of which is called The Stars Too Fondly. This is a sci-fi book. It looks like it's going to be set in the future, and a couple of friends hop on a spaceship trying to figure out why the mission of it went wrong, and something happens, and suddenly they've been, like, the spaceship has taken off and they're in space, and they're trying to figure out the mystery of what happened, and also if possibly there is something between the two of them. And then the second book that I bought is The Heir of Storms. This, I believe, is going to be a fantasy YA novel about someone who can control storms in the weather. And I'm so excited for this one because, whoa, look at that. Purple sprayed edges. We love it. Look at this beautiful cover. And if you notice what I've been moving around, this is actually a signed first edition of this book. Oh my goodness. I'll try and flip it open so you can all see. Said it earlier in the video. We'll say it again. I'm a sucker for a signed copy, and I've never had a signed first edition before, so quite tickled. Absolutely thrilled to have this join my collection and to eventually read this. I had to get some water before the last one because my throat is dry from all of us talking about all of these wonderful books and all of these wonderful bookshops. But now, let's talk about the Edinburgh bookstore that I'm sure you're all going. Mackenzie, did you go to Book Lovers? Did you go to the first romance bookstore in the UK? Yes, of course I did, guys. Of course I went to Book Lovers. When we decided that we would be doing our honeymoon in the UK and that we would also be spending some time in Edinburgh, I was like, I need to go to the store. Welcome back from the Book Lovers videos that I took. I had so much fun actually being in the store, so I hope you enjoyed the little sneak peek or little preview of the video that I was brave enough to get filming in public. I bought 4 books for myself while I was in Book Lovers. The first book is Horn in My Side. This seems like it's going to give similar vibes to Sarah Hawley's Glimmer Falls universe. So contemporary, but with like a little bit of magic. We have our pet store manager, I believe, and then we have the new owner who has inherited the shop and wants nothing to do with it. And there's magic. So very excited for this one. And another signed book. This book itself wasn't signed, but we have the nice signature plates with the author's signature. So very excited. We then have Love in Focus. This is actually one that while Matt was walking around the shop, he picked it up and read it and said, Mackenzie, I think that this is a book you'll like. And it's about two girls who, I don't know if they used to date. Yes, they used to date, broke up, some time has passed. So we have a nice little second chance romance. I believe one's a photographer, and I don't know too much more, but excited to read it, especially because Matt thought that I would like it, so had to get it. Then we have Written in the Stars. We have our two main characters who are set up on a blind date by one of their brothers. And this date is terrible. They cannot be more different. Everything about them, everything about their personalities, complete opposites. And neither of them are into it. However, they decide to fake date to get the people in their lives off their backs. So, fake dating, we have a deadline of when this fake relationship will end, which is right after the holidays. But do we actually think it's going to end? We'll have to read it together and find out. And the last book that I got at, Book Lovers is The Lady of the Lake. Now, I saw this book on TikTok, on Book Talk, and I'm very excited for it. It sounds like it's a retelling of Morgana and I believe Guinevere and what happens if the two of them fall in love. So, very excited. Very pretty cover. I mean, stunning. Excited to read this one as well. Closing in on our last couple of books and our last couple of bookstores, we have from Daunt Books, which is, I now know, primarily a bookstore for travel. So it's very cool. All of their sections are arranged by country. So there is some fiction mixed in, and they do have a fiction section right at the beginning. But primarily it is travel books or history books about different countries. Stunning bookstore. We were there on a very rainy day. So I think I'll throw in some audio of that. And at Daunt Bookstore, I ended up getting The Last Murder at the End of the World. So it seems like there is a small community. The last humans left. There's this fog coming in that I think kills them. So it's clearly a sci-fi book. And I think a murder mystery, because there's a murder and they need to figure out what is going on. This might be a good October book, or really any time book. You know, I have so many October books now. I'm very much looking forward to all of my October reads. They're probably going to start this month, if we're being honest. Maybe. I don't know. Look at all the books that I get to read. I'm so happy. The next bookstore was another surprise bookstore. Matt and I went to the British, I don't know if it's the History Museum or if it's just called the British Museum. But we went there, had a lovely time. If you're going and you like history, you could spend a whole day there. We ended up only being able to be there for, I think, 2 hours. and we wished that we had more time. We had some trouble with some trains, and we just went for the amount of time that we could fit in. And while we were there, I found this book about women in Greek mythology in the bookstore in the museum. And so I've gone and bought this as well. I feel like it's on theme with some of the other books that I've purchased while on honeymoon. And I do enjoy supporting museums. I also believe that artifacts should be in their home country unless they are on loan. And I'm not entirely sure the British Museum has completely caught up with that yet, but I don't know. But to have access to that much history and that much education for free is amazing to me. It's so beautiful. And I love that not only kids, but anyone can go there. Matt and I were literally on our honeymoon going to museums because we're nerds and that's what we enjoy. And so this purchase did help that museum. And I hope that my, what was it, £10 contributes to other people getting to learn and experience about all of those different cultures. We've done it. We're on the last 3 books, the last 2 bookstores that I've gone to, and actually got to these today, the last day of our honeymoon. And yes, I am recording a YouTube video on the honeymoon. I got to go to another one of my, oh my goodness, must go bookstores, and that is Saucy Books. Now, this is the UK's second romance-only bookstore, but it is London's first romance-only bookstore. It is so cute. And we were lucky enough to meet the owner, Sarah, and she is so wonderful and so kind. And they are actually having the end of their first chapter. The plan, it sounds like, is to redecorate the bookstore for the different seasons. And these will be chapters in the Saucy book story. So right now it's in chapter 1, which is kind of beach themed, summery, and their last day of this theme is tomorrow. And then they'll be closed, I think, for a couple of days while they redecorate and redo everything for chapter 2, which I believe will be autumn. And when I tell you guys how sad I am that I don't get to see chapter 2, I'm just going to have to live vicariously through everybody in London getting to see it and looking on Instagram, which I will be doing because it's a great bookstore. I picked up Book Boyfriend. This seems like it's going to be a contemporary romance where one of our main characters finds a note in her favorite library book and decides to write back. Like I said, I was able to meet with the owner, Sarah, and she found out it was our honeymoon. And guys, so nice. I'm going to go over here to this little surprise. She gave me a honeymoon goodie bag. Look at this. It has 2 different bookmarks, someone at a pool reading, and I love Saucy Books. Very cute, but that's not it. It has 2 stickers, I love Saucy Books and Saucy Books London, with their mascot, a mermaid, reading, and the same store logo as a pin. Isn't that so sweet? I was flabbergasted, and she just seems like a very sweet person. So It was lovely. Meet your heroes. Meet your heroes who open up independent, women-owned bookstores that are solely romance bookstores. They're pretty cool people. And last, but certainly not least, the final bookstore I went to was Notting Hill Bookstore. A very cute bookstore right off of Portobello Road. So if you're there on the weekend looking at the markets, go over to Notting Hill Bookstore and see this very cute bookstore. I will warn you, this one also was very crowded and very popular, which we love it. We love to see bookstores being popular. But if you get claustrophobic, I don't know how it is when it's not the weekend because we're here on a Saturday, but I don't know if I'd recommend it if you get claustrophobic because there were so many people when we came in. There was an employee at the door telling people when they were allowed to go in. That should have been my second sign. The first sign should have been the line that there was to get into the bookstore. But lovely employees, lovely bookstore. I've purchased Escape to Pumpkin Cottage, which looks like it's going to be an enemies or rivals to lovers of two battling B&Bs in this small town. And then I've bought Swept Away. This one night stand turned into survival when the boat they were staying on is swept out with the current. Romance. I don't know what else to say about it, but I will say that the young lady helping me cash out was very excited that I was picking up this book and said it was one of her favorites. So we love a recommendation, especially from booksellers. You're still here? There are no more books on the table. What are you doing? What am I still doing recording? Great questions. You're right. I have secrets. And the secrets are more books. Surprise. I was very lucky to meet a friend that we've been friends for almost 5 years now, and we've never met in person before. We work at the same company, and we're friends on social media, and we have each other's WhatsApp and we'll text. We've been in each other's lives for 5 years, and we got to meet up and go to dinner with my new husband and her fiance, and she knows how big of a bookworm I am. And she gifted me as a wedding present this beautiful, I mean, look at these covers, trilogy that is a sci-fi fantasy trilogy, I believe, maybe just fantasy. And I'm very excited to read them. They're absolutely stunning. So thank you, Guna. It was lovely meeting you. I hope that we get to hang out in person again sometime sooner than 5 years. There can't be more surprises. Can there be? Yes. Behind the other pillow, 4 more books. These are books that Matt bought while we were on our honeymoon. If you thought I was going to show you the books that I got as presents, no, I'm not going to do that. I am going to show you the books that Matt bought for Matt. We have Jurassic Park. We have Spare Us, which is a comedy parody of Prince Harry's book Spare. Matt was laughing out loud in the bookstore as he was flipping through this book, and I think we're both tickled to read this. And I will note, the entire time we've been in the UK and all the bookstores we've been to, we have not come across the book Spare but we have come across Spare Us. So we've also got The Siege of Varax. We got a Warhammer 40k book. My husband is a big old gamer. He is a big old nerd just like me, but he enjoys the video gaming. So he found this very cool book and got that as well. And then he got just today at Notting Hill Bookshops, the last bookshop we've stopped at, Metro 2033. No idea what this is about, but he seems very excited for it. So I'm excited for him. All right, for real, the video's over. There are no more surprise books. I'm just back in this comfortable chair. So bye everybody until next week. I hope you're all having wonderful reads and amazing days.